We got breaking news. 2024 NBA free agency offseason. Paul George signs with 76ers. CP3 to the Spurs. Shout out Chris Smooth. I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts right now. PG, I'm surprised he left the Clippers, bro. I thought LA was PG's, man. I thought you would stay in LA, your hometown. But you know, PG want that money on. He want that money, and we can't blame him. It was a business, bro. He getting older. You gotta get all the money you can get. You know what I'm saying? Make all the money you can make. He's getting older.
Paul George is going.
You know what I'm saying? The 76ers won him, clearly.
To the 76ers. He gets his 4-year deal, $212 million. The Clippers only wanted to give him 3 years, so that's why he left.
Yep.
And it's a good fit. It is. The only problem
the injuries.
is that the 76ers, are they seriously contending? Because the last few seasons, it's been a disaster. Embiid is never healthy.
Yep.
Last season was one of the worst examples. He was limping all over the court on fast breaks. He couldn't catch anybody. He wasn't really rim protecting that well either. There were a lot of dunks and layups in the paint. He just
and he had that problem with the eye.
Couldn't move.
I think he got that fixed.
He couldn't move. Those knees, they're hurting. On paper,
he even said he even admitted that too. He said I would. In the All-Star week, he was watching the dunk contest. He said I'll do the dunk contest, but my knees won't allow me to. He said
that. This is a good move. They got one of the best players that's available in free agency, Paul George. But if Embiid doesn't play, if he's injured, if he can't move around on the court and play defense, what does it matter? And
Maxey, they signed Maxey too. Maxey, you gotta be Maxey. Don't let that contract fool you. You gotta take your game up to the next level. You gotta keep on improving, Maxey.
Paul George, he also misses games too. The last 4 to 5 seasons, he hasn't played all 82 games. He's been missing games too. The landscape in the Eastern Conference has changed. I don't think the Sixers are beating the Celtics.
Think they beating the Knicks? You think they beating the Knicks?
They could beat the Knicks. I don't like the Sixers over the Pacers or the Bucks. So
you don't got the Sixers over the Pacers?
I don't really know where they stand in that Eastern Conference.
You got Tyrese Haliburton beating them.
They should be
and
better
TJ
than
McConnell?
they were last season, but I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments section. 76ers fans, what are you thinking about this move? To me, it's funny. They got better, but they're not really in a better situation in the East because the other teams are a lot better than they are. So we'll just have to see what happens.
I know they got rid of Tobias Harris.
More news. We got CP3 leaving the Warriors. He's going to the Spurs for 1 year to play with Wemby to help that young team. His deal is worth $11 million. That's a nice fit as he's getting ready to retire soon. He can still show that he can still play with Greg Popovich. And finally, we get to see somebody lobbing Wemby. Because he's always open in the paint. They're not really looking at him. You know CP3 is going to be looking right at him.
Yep.
That's Lob City, baby. He loves to throw lobs.
It's like Chris Smooth, My Career series. What do you do?
That's going to be
But instead of Chris Smooth, you got Chris Paul, who's 40 years old.
Fun to watch. And then this weekend, we also found out that Klay Thompson is not returning to the Warriors. So that era is over. That's actually very sad. Because he
man, dang, his last game went out sad for his last game with the Warriors. 0 for 10? Bro, I'll probably resign, bro. Just for that. No, I'll resign. I can't go out sad like this. Everything we've been together, I can't go out sad 0 for 10.
Had some amazing moments with Steph Curry, the Splash Brothers. But after the injury, after he got injured, he was never the same, Klay Thompson. His game, it definitely went down. He's still a good player, but he's just not on that level he was pre-injury.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of teams that are going to be interested. Now that the Sixers, now that
I mean, I feel like that's a surprise, bro. You talking about how old is he? Like 33, 34? He tore his ACL, then he tore his meniscus, all within like a year. So you know, it took some time to come back, and if he can come back, so
I don't know if he's an option there. Probably not. Or maybe, you never know. Who knows? Because I don't know what Tobias Harris is doing. I think they're going to get rid of Tobias Harris. But you got the Mavericks and the Lakers that want Klay Thompson. We'll see where he ends up.
What the Hawks going to do? How about the Hawks, bro? You got Larry Nance Jr. and Dyson Daniels. They barely get PT, bro. Come on.
And then we have bad news for Knicks fans. Isaiah Hartenstein is going to the Thunder.
Oh, I like Hartenstein. I told y'all. If y'all watch my playoff reaction videos to the Knicks, Hartenstein, I like him. I like him a lot. Hartenstein, he's like one of those glue guys, those glue centers that can pass the ball, rebound, do all the dirty work for you. You don't got to worry about nothing when he's on the court about getting the rebounds or rotations or nothing because he's there.
Weren't able to keep him there. That would have been nice with all the moves they made. But they still have some good depth, though, for the bigs. They've got Randall. They got Mitchell Robinson. So it's not that bad. I mean, obviously, Hartenstein was just so clutch, so key in a lot of these games this season. He was really showing his worth. It would have been nice for him to be there, but
man, Smooth, you a bog, bro. I would have passed to Tobias Harris in the corner.
Keep everybody. When you spend that much money, you get somebody like Mikal Bridges, you're not going to be able to fill in everybody else that was there, especially with that contract they gave to OG. But so far, free agency has been exciting. Let me know what you think in the comment section.
So apparently the Saints also got Drummond. They got a backup center. Didn't the Drummond play for the 76ers before? Oh, he did. Before James Harden came. They traded him to the Brooklyn for James Harden. So he's back with the 76ers. That's nice.
Listen, Cindy, if you can bring up A16.
And they drafted him. TikTok boy. They're gonna be making, probably gonna be hazing him. TikTok boy. Hey Rook, get over here and make a TikTok boy.
He joins a pair of stars in Philly with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. Maxey expected.
They got Eric Gordon too.
To extend to Philly, by the way, this summer.
Eric, even though he's old, you know what I'm saying? Eric Gordon, he can give you a nice 20.
He also made
Let me see if he hit it.
moves on day one of free agency, signing Kelly Oubre Jr., Andre Drummond, Eric Gordon, some shooting as well. So let's bring in the man who broke all the news while everybody was sleeping, and that is Adrian Wojnarowski. And Woj, what sold Paul George on leaving LA and coming to Philly?
Man, moving cross country. Podcast P! Philly P! Pennsylvania P!
Brian, the door really opened for the Sixers when the Clippers just were not willing to go to a fourth year on a new Paul George contract in LA. They wanted to do a 3-year deal comparable to what they had done with Kawhi Leonard. And that really started to open the door to Paul George leaving the Clippers. They had months to negotiate, and they did negotiate between the Clippers and Paul George. But the Clippers stayed steadfast, and, that allowed Philadelphia to stay in there until just last night when Paul George met with, very late at his house in L.A., met with the 76ers contingent that I'm told included Dr. J, and he committed to a 4-year, $212 million deal. I'm told that's got a player option at the end of it. And now it is Paul George, Joel Embiid, and, of course, Tyrese Maxey, trying to take on the NBA champion Boston Celtics in the East.
I'm just curious, Woj, because you look at it, the Clippers could have offered him really more money. They got a new building coming up. How close were they to keeping Paul George?
My fault, y'all. Oh, my bad. My fault.
Met with the 76ers.
I'm sorry.
In LA, met with the 76ers contingent that I'm told included Dr. J. And
they got Dr. J to come out and get him.
4-year, $212 million deal. I'm told that's got a player option at the end of it. And now it is Paul George, Joel Embiid, and, of course, Tyrese Maxey, trying to take on the NBA champion Boston Celtics in the East.
I'm just curious, Woj, because you look at it, the Clippers could have offered him really more money. They got a new building coming up. How close were they to keeping Paul?
They offered him more money?
Never terribly close, Brian. And, this is, in the Clippers' minds, the reality of the new collective bargaining agreement, that they wanted to be able to put a team around this Clipper group of Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, that they believe would be good enough to compete for a championship. They didn't want to pay Paul George, have him on the books at 37, 38 years old, for $55, $58 million. And there are lots of hard choices a lot of teams are going to have to make in the NBA.
Like I said, PJ won his money. He won his money on, but Clippers, he got to do his best for, the teams got to do his best for them on the long term.
Especially with older players. But Philly, listen, to tie the money up they are now in the 3 players, Paul George, Joel Embiid, and then Tyrese Maxey, you're going to be very limited around them in what you could do. But
So
the
it can only
Sixers
send me like they're like the Phoenix Suns, bro. They're like the Phoenix Buns.
had been
They got 3 players on max salaries, and the rest of the roster just, said 1-year vet minimums.
chasing this max slot, trying to find a third star to go with for Joel Embiid, and sold him on patience to get to this year. He's got a co-star in Tyrese Maxey, and that they were going to be big game hunting this summer. And again, the door opened for Philly when the Clippers just had restraint on how far they were willing to go with Paul George.
Well, if they were big game hunting, they certainly caught the biggest catch in PG. All right, let's bring in the rest of the Woj. Of course, you broke this big story. I got to give you the final word. Give us a final word on all this.
It's going to be really interesting for Paul George. He started his career in the Eastern Conference in Indiana, going up against the Miami Heat, the New York Knicks of Carmelo Anthony, and now he comes back east to Philadelphia, maybe a little bit out of his comfort zone. He thought he was going back to L.A.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too. I thought he wanted to stay there his entire career.
For the rest of his career with the Clippers. But now, for Paul George, could be his best chance at being part of a championship team.
Hey, can't wait to hear about it on the podcast. You better talk about it on the podcast, buddy boy. Dang, are the 76ers going to be good this year? Or are they going to be this version of the Phoenix Buns, a.k.a. Suns, this year? With 3 max players, PG, Embiid, Maxey. At least they got PG got a chance, I guess. Pennsylvania P!